Hi guys, welcome to SoundBsessive. Today we are going to review HifiMan Goldenwave GA-10, which is HifiMan's tube amplifier. It's a SEPP, which means a single-ended push-pull design, and it uses four tubes for the preamplification section and 4 tubes for power amplification. The preamplification is done with 4 ECC83 12AX7 tubes. Which are capable of making the sound delicate, the mid-range quite sweet, and the power amplification uses 4 EL84 tubes, which are suited to control bass dynamics as well as smooth and treble. The amplifier has 3 outputs, which are the balanced XLR, 4.4 balanced output here, and one single-ended 6.35 output. In terms of power, the GA-10 can output 3 watts into 300 ohms. Or let's say just 600 milliwatt into 32 ohms, so it depends on the impedance of the headphone. It has a selector, so there is low impedance selector and high impedance selector depending on the headphone that's used. And it has a super sturdy and beautiful to touch volume knob. In terms of inputs, it has 2 RCA connectors and 2 XLR connectors in order to accommodate every kind of analog input. The GA-10 is a headphone amplifier only. It doesn't have a preamplifier function. The GA-10 has been built with the philosophy of being a sweet all-arounder. It's not an overly warm and tubey amplifier. It's quite neutral, although quite sweet in some regards. It has a very spacious sound, and in general it has good dynamics for a tube amp, and the bass is controlled without adding any bloom into the upper bass and bleeding into the mid-range. The mid-range itself is exhaled quite neutral, slight sweet, slight lush, but without being excessively so, without colorating the personality of the headphone too much. The treble itself is quite smooth, although very detailed, not darkish, not opaque. So, this is the personality of the amplifier. As said, it's very spacious. It's really large sounding, especially in terms of width, but depending on the headphone, it is capable to project depth very well as well. This is for example, with the HE1000 unveiled. I have tested it with many headphones, and I have a clear picture as to which are the best ones going with it. In general, I think it works best with the Area and each E1000 family, which means all of them, including the last top-end models. So in case of Area family, that's the Area Unveiled. In case of the each E1000, that's the Unveiled one as well. While, for example, when using the Area Unveiled, but this stands also for the HE1000 Unveiled, with a solid-state amplifier, I always think something is missing because the sound is thin for me, and solid-state takes away enjoyment from these high-end headphone. So with the GA-10, this is not the case. It makes the sound correctly full, super natural, and very spacious, as said, especially with this specific technology. The unveiled one is capable of a very high level of layering and projection. So with the GA-10, this is perfect match. It makes the bass deep without adding too much in terms of quantity in the mid bass, but the depth is great. In general, the sound is, as said, natural. The timbre is very good too. What I noticed compared to using these two headphones with other amplifiers, such as, for example, the DNA Stratos in the past, where I tested both of them, is that using the GA-10, I felt the HE1000 unveiled was quite fuller and more bassy compared to the area unveiled. Both of them are warmish with it, but the HE1000 unveiled has this higher level of slam and fullness. I don't know if maybe it depends on the different magnet used, considering that they share similar drivers overall, but obviously there are other differences, such as in the framing. I also tested others, such as, for example, the Odivina LE. It also works quite well, in my opinion. There is going to be a review specific to this headphone, but anyway, it warms up the mid-range. And since the Odivina LE has a slightly peaky heights as well, those are slightly sweetened as well. It also worked well for me with the Ananda Unveiled. It makes it very, very, very musical. So these headphones, I think, are really, really well suited for the GA-10, especially these two, because if I have to pay 1,600 euro, I would like to have a matching headphone with very good capabilities, and these two are my top choices. I also tested other things, for example the Isvarna and also the Spirit Audio Titano, which is a very interesting headphone, and it worked well as a stress test for this. The Isvarna is a bit too bloomy with the GA-10, and I prefer it with, for example, HifiMan Prelude solid state amplifier. That's a power monster. I like that one as well very much, and I think it's better suited for the Isvarna, and it's also much better suited for the Titano. The GA-10 works better with the Area and the HE1000 family anyway, because the Prelude I think is suited for different kind of headphones, probably also the Susvara Unveiled, although I still haven't had a chance to test it with my gear, but I tried it in other situations. The Spirit Audio Titano is a headphone that's capable of going extremely deep in the bass. And when I tried it with the GA-10 compared to the Prelude, I felt there was a lack of overall control. It's not a specific thing that you realize in a specific range of the frequency, but it's something more general. You really get the feeling that when you use it with the Prelude, everything clicks perfectly in the right place, and I can just call this control. So in conclusion, I think the GA-10 is a great all-arounder, is very refined in terms of tonality, and can please most kind of headphones because of this sweetened neutrality and huge sound, super spacious sound. Obviously there are preferences because for example the Spirit Titano, but not just that one obviously, and other power monsters would prefer solid state amplifier because that one would be would give a better sense of control and transient stop compared to a tube amplifier. But for example, I found this a wonderful coupling with the Area and the HE1000 family. As said, I think this is probably the best match for these two headphones. Compared to other tube amps, it depends, because some of them can be more powerful, but at the price of other things. Maybe they could be less smooth, or others could be much more bloomy, but at the cost of screwing up something in the tonal balance with other kind of headphones. So in this case, it touches little the frequency response of the headphone you use with it, but it really makes a great match with some of them. And so if one wants to go with a middle to high-end HifiMan setup, these, for example, are all great matches.